Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Hello, bad people. Welcome to our show. Hello, welcome. Today we are going to discuss about branding, how you can create brand awareness, how you can win customers, how you can get results, and many other things we are going to discuss because today it's very important to pay attention to create your strong brand recognition. I'm not sure about the future. I don't know which channels will work. But if you have this brand recognition, all channels will work great. I'm so excited to discuss a lot more with Jacob Kass. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I love the energy. Thank you so much for having me. Looking
Ah,
forward to talking about brand and growth and all those good things.
nice. Yeah, I love these topics, and I spent a lot of time on SEO to get results with SEO, to win organic reach on social media. But I found nothing works well if you have no strong brand recognition. It doesn't matter organic reach, paid marketing. You need to have this recognition. You need to customers need to know you before deciding to cooperate or do anything
Yeah,
else.
they
Jacob,
need to
before
trust
we
you.
before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to share with us about branding.
All right. So I'll share my experience. At my heart, I'm a designer. I am classically trained as a graphic designer. These days, I'm a brand designer. So I help brands grow through strategy, design, and marketing. I'm a bunch of other things. I'm a podcast host. I have a podcast on branding. It's called Just Branding. I have a community for creatives to help them grow and level up. And my main agency, Just Creative, is my bread and butter. It's the company I've owned since about 2007. It's a brand design agency. It's the community. It's the platform for my podcast and everything. Basically, that's my brand. It's a personal brand. It's a business brand. So we can have a chat about that. But yeah, I also have a lot of expertise in marketing, SEO, affiliate marketing, and yeah, everything in between. So it's just like awesome cross section of business, marketing, brand, and design. So there's a lot to unpack there. But yeah, let's dive in.
Nice. Love it. Jacob, I want to start from very simple question. If we have limited resources, where to pay more attention to personal or business branding? I know even big companies have limited resources, and I get this question a lot. Where to start? What to do? Do we need to grow personal accounts of CEOs, executives, or is better to build brand recognition for companies? Because I see when people can share some new pages on social media, it gets a lot more engagement because people wanna cooperate with people, they trust people. So uh, g- let us know where to start,
Yeah.
what to do
Okay.
if
So
we start from
I,
scratch.
I'll just reframe the question because I don't think there's a better
Okay.
answer here. It's more about what are your goals? What's the intention here? And who are you trying to connect with? That's what we need to discuss. So whether or not it's a personal or business brand, those goals may differ. When it comes to reach and awareness, it's easy to answer that because people connect with people better versus a faceless corporation. And you can just look at brands like Tesla and Elon Musk. Elon Musk has millions of followers, and Tesla, I don't even know how many, but it's much less than that. And it's the same for like all the other brands out there. Like Richard Branson and Virgin, as another example. The personal brand always has more traction because it's personal. But whether it's a little bit different about how you go about, brand awareness and reach and how you communicate. So there are some nuances, but at its core, branding is the same. Like the same principles apply. It's just how you go about it that's a little bit different.
Yeah, I agree. And you mentioned Elon Musk and Tesla, but you can mention Elon Musk and X or Twitter.
Yeah, let's not go there.
You can see different side of
Yeah,
this
and that's the
phenomenon.
downfall of personal branding. Like it can pull a business down as well, and it can also, elevate it too.
Yeah. I hope the future will be great for X. But today it's tough. And Elon Musk decided to take the social media without any experience to change the world. He knows how to change the world, but he doesn't know how to change social media without experience. But we'll see. I hope everything will be fine. Jacob, I wanna ask about methods. Let's imagine we decided to create brand awareness for companies, because in most cases I have some companies. In my case, I have followers from companies that want to grow business brands. But can you tell where to start? Because we have a lot of methods: PR, digital marketing, social media, organic reach, paid marketing, and it's tough to choose one the best channel. And probably we have no one the best channel. It depends, as you mentioned before. But let us know how to choose the right way.
You have to think about who your customer is and where they hang out. So it's not about necessarily you. It's more about who you're trying to connect with. Where do they live online? How do they interact? Maybe it's not even social media. Maybe it's private groups. Maybe it's offline. So it's more about getting your mind thinking about where they are, and adapting your strategy to that need. So, for example, I'm a designer. There's a lot of designers on Instagram. It's a very visual platform. There's less designers on Twitter in comparison. So a lot of designers focus on Instagram to connect with other designers on there. But that's not to say that they aren't on Twitter. It's just going to be less of them. But it also could be a different way to connect and reach different people. So there's different strategies there, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, most marketing guys, specialists can tell it's better to find where your audience is. But I think it's better to think about your life on social media first. Because, for example,
Yep.
if I want to grow my, let's imagine my audience is on Facebook. But if I don't like Facebook, why I need to spend my time there if I can do it on LinkedIn? I like this more. And I see it's a big struggle for many companies that are trying to achieve their audience on social media that they don't like. And for example, you can even find people, your audience on TikTok, and the last time I can see a lot when B2B companies jump on TikTok. And many years ago, all these companies criticize TikTok. Today they create accounts and create these short videos. And I think it's a good idea. You need to love social media. If you dislike, you can burn out in some time. You can give up and think, okay, it doesn't work for me. It's better to change approaches. So can you tell about, for example, let's imagine I know where my audience is. I know that I like the social media, but how to stand out from the rest? Because at any social media we have high competition, and I see when companies post content around 6 months without any results, without anything, But I think it's okay. That's normal. Just to be patient, engage with others. So let us know about patience, because you can create brand awareness overnight. So any tips about that?
Yeah. Well, you have to understand branding is a long-term game, and what you're trying to do is make an impression on the customer, and you do that by providing value, and by providing value, you build trust. So you can choose the platform that's best for you and your needs and your personal preferences. Some ways you could break it down is like, well, do you like writing, or do you like video, or do you like creating graphics? They're going to kind of dictate where you go. For example, Reels on Instagram and TikTok if you prefer video, or LinkedIn or Twitter if you prefer writing. So there's different ways you can think about it. It's hard to do both really, really well. Either you're a really great video creator or a really great writer. I don't see often where people are winning both. It's pretty rare. But if you're starting out, that's a good way to think about it. Like, am I going to write, or am I going to create videos or visual content?
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
agree. You can become jack of all trades, if you write, record, and film. Yeah, that's a good idea to repurpose content. When you create a few formats. For example, you can
Yes.
write articles to repurpose to video format. We have a bunch of tools that can help with that. But I agree. I know the best results usually get someone who pays attention to one specific method. Even if best practices can tell you need to film videos, but if you are great with writing, if you like to write, Seth Godin, Stephen King don't care about filming videos on TikTok because they're good with writing, and you can win a lot of customers to write great text. And Jacob, I want to ask about value. Today most customers don't buy from unrecognizable brands, but we need to create this brand awareness, and that means we need to share value. Can you tell how to share this value and bring something new? Because it's not about value. I think it's not valuable if you bring something that others can share. You need to stand out from the rest and bring new value. So any tips how to do it right?
Yeah, well, new value is different for everyone because someone may not have seen that idea or content, so it could be new to the next person. So I don't think anything is truly new. Like all these ideas are already out there. It's just a different reframe, whoever's writing it. So people do get held up on this. Like I have nothing new to share, but it's your experience, your point of view that makes it unique. So that's the perspective and lens you need to think about this. And you mentioned volume. Often people get held up on how often to post, and I don't have time for this. I say just be consistent, show up as much as you can. And if you can commit to once a week, do that. But if you can do it once a day, do that. You have to manage your time and your commitment levels and just be consistent. That's the simplest way to put it. Just show up. And that's how you get seen. That's how you connect. And that's how you make progress.
Nice. Yeah. Jacob, I want to ask about your strong side, your personal strong side. And let me explain why I'm asking about that. I spoke with a lot of great branding experts. Uh, we can find today a million brand experts online, LinkedIn, Upwork, everywhere. But I think everyone has own strong side. Let us know about your strong side and why customers need to cooperate with you compared to others, and why.
Just so I'm understanding that you're saying compare my what site? My front site, did you say?
Strong side.
My strong site?
Yes, of
Is that what
course.
you mean?
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
so
like compare yourself with other branding experts.
okay, so my site is Just Creative, and I mentioned this at the start. It's my business and my platform. So that is my my strongest site, and that is what I've used as the backbone of my business since 2007. So it has been driven by SEO and a very well optimized site. There's a lot of links and there's a lot of clout on there. We grew it exponentially fast in 21 and 22 during COVID. The recent updates killed our site pretty much. Like we lost about 80% in the past year. So I want to be transparent about that. There's a lot of ups and downs with SEO. And we scaled from about 200,000 a month to 1 million in about a year, and then we crashed down to about 100,000 now. So it's crazy how things go, but we're working on it. And yeah, that's our main site. So I'm not sure what you want to dig into on the site, but I'm happy to answer.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about SEO. So basically, you use SEO to create brand awareness. If you can share how you create SEO strategy, because according to data, most companies have no documented content strategy. They just chase what competitors have, create the same topics. So if you use SEO to create brand awareness, how you choose topics and connect with buying persona, connect with buying journey? Any tips about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I have two audiences. I have designers and creatives as like one bucket. Then I have entrepreneurs and business owners as another bucket. So they're my two kind of people I'm going after. So my content strategy is based around those two audiences. So for designers, I have a lot of resources for them, such as best font articles or best tech gear to promote to them, or even resources on like how much for a logo design or the logo design process. And this is where it gets interesting. A lot of those content ideas actually overlap with the business owners. So if you think about the top of the funnel for a business owner, they may be looking for a logo design. They're like, well, how much does a logo design cost? What's the process of logo design? So that sort of content is useful for both. And that's the strategy that's most useful because A, it can be evergreen and it helps them people at the top of the funnel, so you get that brand awareness, and it also helps designers, and that leads down to getting them on your email list, and then you can to share more value and build that trust even further. On the business side, so it's a lot of other, so the business owners, entrepreneurs, it's more like educational pieces, whereas the designers, it's more resource based, and there's a lot of affiliate links in those sort of articles. So articles like best laptops for designers or best fonts, they're listicles that are very useful for designers, and I get a cut if someone buys something from the link, and so does the provider, and at no extra cost for the user. So that's that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, nice. Jacob, I want to ask about how to stand out from the rest in SEO, because in most cases we create topics for evergreen content. I mean, like content that are not expired. Of course, it can be expired, but we can update. But how to stand out from the rest? Because if you mentioned a few times to stand, to be different, I don't know, something like this. But if we take topics, it means we need to bring value to topics that exist, and to stand out from the rest. And don't forget about user intent. I think I see when companies can misunderstand user intent and standing out from the rest. You need to bring something new. You need to bring something different, but consider user intent. So can you tell how to do it right?
Yes, well, it's changing. So the past year, Google has changed so much in terms of how they're ranking content. So what used to rank is not working so well now, and they're putting so much emphasis on EAT, and I won't get into all the technicalities of this, but to stand out, you have to understand the user, but also give a fresh perspective on the topic. And it doesn't have, when I say fresh, it doesn't have to be like totally new. It's just your lens and your experience being brought to the table. And that's how you're going to stand out, especially with all this AI content coming in. How can you show your expertise, your point of view, illustrate it, share, options, share your opinions, share alternatives. That sort of difference can really elevate your content over the rest. And it used to be based on word volume that you could rank pretty well. Now it's about how helpful the content is and how quickly you answer the user's intent. So for example, if they're asking how much for a logo design, if they get to your page and they have to scroll down 3,000 words to get that answer, that is not deemed helpful anymore. But before, maybe a year or so ago, because the content was so well documented and it was very extensive, it was a very long article, it was ranking pretty well. And yeah, things have changed. So now it's about helpfulness and how quickly you can answer the user's intent. So yeah, hopefully that helps with standing out. It's not a simple answer, but
yeah, of course. And Jacob, I want to ask about creating this content. It's a big challenge for most companies. It's a big challenge. And I remember in 2008, when I started my digital journey, we hired a team of writers who wrote about anything. I gave them topics: weight loss, finance, anything. They wrote, Google ranked. Many things changed since this time. Google updated the system. It's not even about Google, it's more about competition. And many companies jumped on this field to create content. And today, a lot of content are overwhelmed. You can find content for any topics. If you search any keyword, you can see a million pages. We don't check even 3 pages. Sometimes we can check 10 pages, but in most cases, people open a few pages, not more. And I want to ask how to. You mentioned about experience, expertise, something like this. And I know today we don't cooperate with writers who don't know the topic. So basically, if I see that writers can tell, I can create content about weight loss and finance. No, we can't cooperate, because I see it's not focus, and people become jack of all trades, as we mentioned before. But can you tell how to find these great writers who can? And one more, if you can help your customers to create this content? Do you search for these writers, or any tips how to do it right?
Yeah, absolutely. You need an expert on the topic. And I've also struggled with this because design is a niche, and I'm asking writers to talk about design when they have no design background. So it's very clear that the designer hasn't got, or the writer hasn't got design expertise or any background in it. So I've had to, get rid of a couple of, well, not get rid of, but not use them for that sort of content. So you do have to pick and choose. And, the easiest way is to find someone in that topic. So for example, NFTs and crypto was pretty big like 2 years ago. So I was kind of getting into that space and helping designers enter the world of NFTs. So I was hiring expert writers in that area, and they had better knowledge than other generic writers. Forgive that word. I don't like the word generic, but
Yeah.
it's you do have to find the right writer for your topic. So how you can do that, job boards. I've had success on places like Upwork, Fiverr, onlinejobs.ph. You can get some writers out of the Philippines, and it's pretty good rates. And yeah, that's where I've had success.
Nice. I never thought that it's possible to find great writers on Fiverr. On Upwork, yeah, it's
Yeah,
possible,
you'd be
but
surprised. Like I've been using it much more. I did have this anti like Fiverr
Mhm.
mindset, and I've given it a go, and they have improved so much more from when I used it, like I don't even know, like
Ooh.
3-5 years ago. And the rating systems that they use, you can easily find a really good freelancer, if you will, by looking at the reviews and ratings and choosing like the top picks. There's so many people on there, and there's so much difference of quality, but if you use their ratings and pay like a little bit more than like the average, you're going to get good results. And I haven't had a bad experience yet. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I need to give one more chance, to Fiverr to check it. And Jacob, you mentioned many times about design, and I see when companies need to create this design, and it depends on users. Sometimes we don't need to write a lot of text to write long content if users are looking for design. For example, my wife, she doesn't care about this text. She doesn't read them. She just checks this new clothes, dresses, and it's enough to convince her.
Mm.
And can you tell about design topics? How to find this balance between writing and visuals to create high quality images, and where we need to pay more attention if we take these topics?
Yeah, images are under what's the right word? Not underpriced, undervalued, not like the underdog here.
Mhm.
I think people overlook the value of images and how people search by images, especially on Google. And if you're not using unique images, your articles aren't going to get found. So people do scroll and look at the imagery and call outs. They scan. They don't generally read all the sub copy, especially the small sub copy. So whatever you can do to bring visual interest to the page and to communicate an idea very effectively in an image or with a pull quote or anything else that's going to make the reader find the answer quicker, that is what you should be aiming for. So whether or not it's an image or a large block of text that's like a bit larger than the rest, there's different ways to stand out. So yeah, don't overlook images, that's for sure.
Yeah, nice, nice. And I wanna ask about one topic that it's tough to ignore today. That was simple yesterday, impossible tomorrow, about AI.
Mm.
And I speak a lot with AI experts, and personally, I grew my results with AI, and some websites we work a lot in investing trading niche, and we grew them from 0 to 2,000 followers, not followers, people a day, and that's cool because we compete with billion-dollar companies, big companies, well-known brands, but we found a way how to get this traffic. And yeah, many goals on this topic. But I want to ask about AI because I use a lot AI to get these results. I see a different. side of this coin, 5% of marketers and content creators lost their jobs when ChatGPT appeared. And I'm not sure that these tools replace these people. People who adapted to AI can replace them. So basically, I'm using AI. If I don't use AI to get results, someone will replace me. So you need to adapt fast. And I want to ask you how you use AI and how it can help you to grow results.
Yeah, I use AI every day, pretty much. ChatGPT is my go-to. I use Midjourney as well as the Adobe suite. There's a lot of AI built into the design tools there. So that's how I'm using AI, and occasionally a few other tools, but they're generally my go-tos. And I'm using it more for image creation, mood board creation, idea generation, customer profiles, even some data crunching, some strategy work as well. So it's a very diverse way I use it. I'm not doing so much writing, like blog writing using SEO. I have some writers that are helping out with that. They use AI a little bit, not too much. We still try to focus on the human side of things, and that's, I think, a big point of difference for us is we're not using it too much. Whether or not that's the right thing to do is, it's another question. That's what the gray area is right now. I do believe that people using AI are going to be more productive. They're going to put out more content. It's going to be much more lucrative in the long term. So I see it as a tool to improve your productivity and efficiency. And that's the mindset I have with AI. I still think humans need to give it the right input and edit appropriately to give the most value. And that's what's going to eventually bubble to the top.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. And we use AI to write press releases, and we got mentions on CNN, Bloomberg, CoinDesk,
Nice.
investing.com, big websites, Business Insider, and we use AI to write press releases. And if CNN can accept this press release, it means quality.
Yes.
You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
cheat CNN.
Some of the writing is better quality. That's for sure. And as long as you're giving the input, and it's so clever.
Yeah, of course. And when someone can tell, Google can catch you. Google is looking for ranking great content. If you create with AI or without AI, nobody cares. And I spoke with Fabrice Canel from Bing, and he told me Bing doesn't care if you use AI. Okay, let's do it. Google changed the policy, and I think you need to bring value. If you can do it with AI, do it. If you can't, then think how to adapt AI and use more manual job. I don't know. Yeah, fine, your way. Jacob, I want to ask about mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in marketing. I keep doing them, and I don't know another way how to learn. And I mentioned, for example, I got results with PR, but I made mistakes before. When I tried to write press releases, pitch them, I got zero mentions, results. Uh, we spend time to learn how it works, and I think it's part of the process to make mistakes. Sorry for my dogs; they usually take part on my podcast. But I want to ask you about mistakes that we can avoid from your experience. For example, companies still do these mistakes, but your tips how to avoid them.
Okay, so mistakes, how I see them, lessons learned. I've definitely made a lot of them, and it's easy to say in hindsight, that's for sure. But common mistakes are not doing the proper research first and just investing in writing and keywords without actually seeing, do you have a chance to rank for this? Are you wasting your time and resources by going after this keyword when clearly the top 10 results are just the big players, and it's very rare to be able to compete with them when they have domain ratings of plus 90 and you're a small blog. So you have to be realistic with your strategy and plan accordingly. I think that is the biggest mistake people make, is that they go after really big keywords and they don't actually do the proper research. So to counter that, you have to understand where you are, right? What playing field are you playing in? and then look at the keywords that you can potentially rank for. I'm not saying you can't ever rank with the big boys. I was for like a year or so. I'm 76 in domain rating, and I was playing with the 99 pluses for a long time. But since last year, when Google changed all their algorithms, that's totally changed. So you have to understand where you are currently. So I cannot compete with them currently, but that doesn't mean we can't constantly put out content, improve our rankings, get more links back, and build our profile. So it's this like balance of, well, where are you now and where do you want to be? What content do I need to produce now to get there? And it has to be reflective of your goal. So you always have to keep that end goal in mind. Why are you here? Why are you doing this? And how am I going to get there? That's the frame of thinking that I use.
Yeah, nice. And you mentioned about to make this research, proper research, and I want to ask about priorities. You know, when I open SEMrush, Ahrefs, any other great tools, Serankin, I can type any keyword to get plus 100,000 keywords, sometimes millions keywords. It's tough to choose right keywords, and I see it's a big issue when companies chase almost all lists. You can create a lot of content. Even big companies have a big struggle to create content for all possible keywords, and we don't need to do it. For example, if I take keyword SEO, how I can compete with limited resources with Google itself, with Moz, Neil Patel. And the second doesn't mean even ranking this keyword, you can get results. It depends on your buying persona, and you can find many other keywords that will provide results. I want to ask about priorities and filtering, removing fluff from huge list, how you do it, how you find right keywords, and prioritize which keywords you can take first, second, and go.
So Ahrefs is the tool I use. So there's many tools out there, but the strategy that we use is understanding the keyword difficulty, like what can we play with. So like a year ago, we could play with like 50 to 70, maybe 90 if it was like a very good article, but these days it's more like 30 to 50. So understanding where you generally rank, what sort of kind of keyword difficulty you rank in, and also looking at the volume of that keyword. If that keyword is super high volume and very hard, well, maybe that's not the one we go after. Maybe there's a secondary keyword that has less volume, but it's easier to rank for. So that's kind of like the low-hanging fruit that you can pick off, finding a keyword that the big brands may not be going after, and then using that for your particular approach, right? So there's different nuances on how people may type in something, and you could go after it that particular way versus the others, or maybe it's a different angle. So for example, it could be, let's say, Photoshop versus Illustrator. These are two programs in the creative world. So it's a comparison article. You could do an article like that, but it's very competitive. Or you could say, Adobe versus Illustrator, what is the cheapest, for example? And that kind of keyword may be less used, and that would find, you'll still find people with a different approach. That's just one example. There's many different other questions you could ask or different stances, but I just want to show that if you have a different angle on those two things, it could could be more lucrative.
Yeah, nice. Love it. Jacob, I have a lot of questions, but I think everyone who can follow you on social media, because I follow, they can learn a lot more. And I still have two final questions, very important for my audience, about your experience. You have this design background, you have experience with SEO, and before the podcast, you asked me about my audience, and I wanna help my audience. Two different people. The first people, founders of companies who are looking for ways to learn the basic and cooperate with great experts like you. And the second, students who are looking for ways to learn from scratch, especially today when we have AI, a bunch of tools, automation. So I want to ask you, if you started today from scratch without any experience, knowledge, skills, it's your first day, in branding, in SEO, and what will you do if you started everything from scratch?
Okay, so I'm a branding expert, so I'm going to give you what I run my clients through. So there's a few things you want to understand. It's like, well, first off, what are your goals? Why are you here? What are your intentions? You have to have that in mind. So otherwise, you don't know where you're going. You're just going to get lost. So understanding your goals, then you have to set up your foundations. Like, what is your purpose? What's your vision? What's your mission? And what are your values? Like, how are you going to show up? So that's basically the foundation. That's where I'd start. Then I'd move into how you're positioned as a brand. Basically, what makes you different? Why should someone choose you? And how you find that positioning is by looking at a number of different things. Number one is your company. What do you do? What offers do you have? What value do you bring? Number two, who is it for? Defining your audience is crucial. And number three, who are you up against? How are you going to stand out in the marketplace? So those are some really big questions that you have to ask yourself when you're starting out. Once you have that in place, then you move into building your brand, and you have to give your brand a tone of voice, a personality. And this is basically how your brand is expressed. It can be, visually, it can be audio, and so forth. So that is the brand expression phase. And you'll have to create an identity for your brand. So logos, fonts, colors, graphics, social media, all of that, that's part of your identity. And then from there, you move into your marketing phase. So how are you going to connect with your audience? How are you going to make your content, your offers relevant to them? Some big questions, and that's your marketing phase. So that's when you'll start building out your online presence, your website, your social media. You have to craft the right message to connect with them and to provide value and build trust, and eventually, sell whatever you're selling, your widgets. So that's how I'd approach it. And there's many mechanics behind that. There's many different tactics on how you achieve that, whether it's social media or SEO or whatever it may be. So that's the tactics. But before you even move into the tactics, you have to get that foundation right, get your brand in the right place, and then go and scale.
Nice, valuable. And my final question about the future. In digital marketing, we adapt fast. I think even faster than at any other niche occupations. For example, when I spoke with my brothers, they have good salary, results in accounting, but nothing changed since I don't know, like for 20 years. The same calculation spreadsheet, nothing special. In marketing, I change a lot. For 15 years, probably, if I use, I don't think that I can use even one method that I used 15 years ago. Like we can write, but it's not like to cooperate with specialists who can write about anything. We outsource great experts. We search them to check portfolio experience. We cooperate with experts who can write for Forbes, Investor, pay the big websites, because I know my results depend on this. It's better for me to order one text than 10 or 100 other texts, but one text with high quality is more important. But I'm not sure about the future, and let me explain why. For example, since ChatGPT appeared, 12% of users are looking for answers on ChatGPT or other AI tools, but including me. I ask a lot of questions. ChatGPT, you mentioned that you use this tool daily. And for example, sometimes I can get much faster and better results on AI tools than in Google. For example, I decided to buy Tesla in Florida. So I searched on Google the answer to question, can I use this autopilot self-drivers feature? And I couldn't find the answer to simple question. I found this answer for a few seconds on BART. Many other great examples, because Google can list content, 10 pages, blue links. Sometimes we have feature snippets, other blogs, but anyway, we need to search from this information. Chatbots can reply much faster, to give the specific answers. I can't say, of course, not sometimes wrong results, not accurate, but for me, I can save time. If I know the topic, I can understand that's correct or not. So you mentioned many times that SEO can help you, but I'm not sure about the future. When I ask my son, 50 years old, um, to search something on Google, he uses TikTok. So he
Yep.
doesn't care about Google. So
Yep.
I don't think that Google will be like this that we have today. Probably Google, it's a big company, can change this system, search system. We see this search generative experience, probably other features will come. And so I want to ask you your prediction about the future and how you are going to adapt to this possible future.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
The future is here, in my opinion. Like we're seeing it every day, and it's evolving so quickly. If you just think about, you know, AI generation, image generation a year ago, it was like laughable, but now it's like so scary that you can't even tell the difference, and often it's even better than a real photo. So that's how fast things are progressing. AI video is going to be I think 2024 is, you know, like the year of AI video. So that's what I predict. I also ran a survey, a state of brand survey with branding professionals to understand their point of view when it came to the future of brand. It's a different lens, but what people really thought about was authenticity. You know, how can we prove that we are us and show up authentically and stand out from all this other garbage, AI generated content and bots and so forth? And how can we personalize the experience to each individual? That's another key aspect. So those were what others were predicting as the future, or where the emphasis should be put. You know, authenticity and personalization and purpose, right? Like, why are you doing what you do, and what impact are you making? So those sorts of questions are a different way of thinking, not just, hey, what tool am I going to use? How am I going to achieve this? It's like, well, how can I make a greater impact? And I think that's a different way to think about things. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we can ask and speak about that a lot, discuss. And but anyway, guys, as I mentioned, I follow Jacob on social media, so you can follow Jacob Cass on the LinkedIn, or let us know which way is better to keep learning from you, to reach out to you.
Yep. Yeah, sure. I will. Justcreative.com is my website. On there is a free branding briefcase. And inside that briefcase is a bunch of design, branding, and business resources. So it's all for free. You can download it in exchange for your email, of course. But inside there is a brand strategy workbook. There is a branding mini course that you can download. There's a bunch of resources such as fonts and you know, branding resources. I won't get into all of them. There's a logo design inspiration ebook. There's a lot of resources that can help with growing your brand. So yeah, you can go to justcreative.com, and all my social handles are pretty much Just Creative or Jacob Cass. So I'm on a lot of them.
Nice, guys. You can find all the links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again. A big pleasure. I love it. So valuable. You know how to share these valuable bombs. So I need to figure
Thank you
out.
so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah,
Great
because
questions.
yeah, guys, I recommend to anyone to follow Jacob Cass on social media, because I do it and you need to do it as well. Open this website, keep learning, because marketing is a quickly changing world. You need to adapt fast. If you do it, that everything will be fine at any environment. Okay, guys, love you. See you.